Look, whether it's a tricky flop shot over a bunker, an explosion shot for some greenside sand, or just a run-of-the-mill chip shot, everybody's looking for more spin and more control in their short game. And TaylorMade thinks it has just the tool to get the job done. This is the new MG4 wedge, and in this video, I'm going to tell you everything about it. Now, the MG4 wedges are cast from 8620 carbon steel, which is a very soft material. But the first thing that everyone's going to notice when they look at this club is that it has a sticker, which is covering the entire face and the entire hitting area. And that sticker obviously is designed to be removed once you make the purchase of this club, because underneath this sticker is a raw steel finish. Now, while the back of the golf club and many of the other areas have been chromed over so they won't corrode, that raw steel face over time and with exposure to water and air is going to rust very, very slowly. Now, once you have peeled away that sticker, you're going to be left with a very, very unique hitting surface. Now, between the grooves on the MG3 wedges, which these MG4s are going to be replacing, there was a raised micro rib. Those are gone now in the MG4 family of wedges, and there's a new treatment that's called spin tread. Basically, what's happening here is in between each groove, TaylorMade is using a laser to etch in at a 45-degree angle a series of lines that look like sort of little dashes, and they're designed to work like the grooves in your tires. And that means that they're going to get water and moisture and debris off of the hitting surface and away from the golf ball at the moment of impact. The more effectively they can do that, the more effectively you're going to be able to maintain spin. And that's a big story when it comes to the MG4 wedges. You see, for the most part, in dry conditions, the MG4 wedges are going to produce about the same amount of spin that the MG3 and even the MG2 wedges produce. But what they're going to do in wet conditions is perform much, much better. And again, that is going to be attributed, according to TaylorMade, to this spin tread design. Now, to enhance feel, TaylorMade added just a little bit more mass on the back flange here. And what that's going to do is slightly, very slightly, lower the center of gravity, not so much to really change the flight of shots that you're going to be hitting with these wedges, but putting a little bit more metal, a little bit more mass directly behind where you're going to be hitting the golf ball most often, just creates a little bit more solid strike. Now, as I said, these wedges are cast. However, after the casting process, they are also milled. MG in MG4 stands for milled grind. And the milling takes place on the bottom of the golf club as well as the transition area from the hosel into the sole itself. You'll see that there are tiny little lines back and forth that are covering the bottom of this golf club in the sole area. Those marks are made by a high-speed bit that passes back and forth over the bottom of the golf club and shaves off tiny ribbons of material until the precise design that the engineers at TaylorMade are looking for is achieved. And that leads us to a very interesting development when it comes to the MG4 wedges. TaylorMade has historically had 4 different offerings when it comes to sole grind configurations: a low bounce, a standard sole, as well as a high bounce, and also a Tiger Woods grind option as well. However, with the MG4 family of wedges, 3 more wedge grinds have been added to create more variety, to give players more options. There is a standard bounce C grind. Now, the standard bounce C grind is going to have about 9 degrees of bounce. However, because there is going to be so much heel and toe relief, players should be able to open that wedge up and slide the leading edge underneath the ball when they have that open face. When they don't have that open face, they're going to be able to take advantage of having that 9 degrees of bounce. There's also going to be a low bounce V grind option, which has 7 degrees of bounce for players who are going to be in conditions where either the ground is very, very firm, the sand is extremely compacted, or if they tend to sweep the ball off of the turf rather than having a steep angle of attack and being a digger. And finally, there is a new high bounce W grind. Now, the high bounce W grind, again, is going to be available as a 58 and a 60-degree lob wedge only, but it's going to have 13 degrees of bounce, and this is by far the widest sole grind option in the TaylorMade MG4 lineup. That means if you're looking for something that's going to be very forgiving out of bunkers, something that from thick, gnarly, wet rough, you're looking for basically a cheat code, that wide sole acts as a gigantic skim plate, and that will really help to keep the leading edge up above the level of the sand and keep it from digging into the ground. So if you're somebody who really struggles from bunkers, you might want to definitely give a try to that high bounce W grind. So if you're going to be in the market for some new wedges, you might want to talk to a good custom fitter about the new TaylorMade MG4 family of wedges.